What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and somewhere Tim Pool is saying Civil War, and he's all excited about it, but it's not quite the exact two opponents that he perhaps thought. By the way, if you're just tuning in now or for the first time, favor to ask, please do hit that like button down below, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow. I know it can be a pain if you have to create an account, but YouTube's making it harder and harder for people to find our videos, and I would just greatly appreciate it. I hope I earn your subscription today. Now, the Daily Wire has gone to almost exclusively war coverage, which is fine for me because I cover less spooky things, less scary things, but their entire homepage, for the past several weeks, has literally been exclusively mired in the conflict over in the sandbox. Now, it's something that I've tried to relatively stay away from because my opinion is America first. And, I feel like both sides there can handle it however they want to handle it. I understand some people have family lineage going back to perhaps one side or the other, and they feel emotionally involved. But it's also my opinion that this country has a football stadium full of people that die every single year due to the opioid epidemic. We have a homeless problem. Our VA's been in shambles for years. We have inflation problems. We have gas price problems. We have grocery price problems. We have shrinkflation. People are getting less groceries for more money. These are the issues that my, feeble mind is mostly concerned about. And of course, the other one is reminding everyone that my coffee company, which is not a dropship Garbo organization, we roast our own coffee. We have coffee, teas, and cocos, as well as about 20 different premium snacks. Every Christmas, we have a gift box option that people love. It sells out long before our shipping cutoff date. You can get a box that pre-built or customized. Our pre-built has chocolate-covered espresso beans, raspberry yogurt, pretzel twists, sea salt, milk chocolate caramels, and medium dark roast. We also have one that includes our kettle corn this year, which is new, spicy and sweet treat, of course, a tumbler, and our peppermint hot cocoa, or what most people, about 50% of people just customize it because we have dozens of snacks that aren't listed here, including chocolate sunflower sprinkles, peppermint bark, which is new for this year, and you can pick your coffees, flavored, unflavored, whole, or ground. Promo code early bird, save 10%. And that'll be the only time I mention it today. Okay, so I know you guys are sick of it, but I want you to get the gift. I don't want to sell out on you. Now, apparently, in addition to their wall-to-wall coverage on the desert, there's been some internal fighting, and now Ben Shapiro has come out directly and called Candace Owens, quote, disgraceful in front of a crowd. Certainly this is going to reverberate. I think, quite frankly, if you look at these two individuals and their personal ideologies, first of all, I think both should be able to coexist at the Daily Wire. If you want everybody that works for you to have the exact same political opinions, why even have a company? Just have Ben Shapiro and his one particular opinion. Obviously, Ben Shapiro, Jewish guy, very pro-Israel. And I would say Candace Owens asks some more questions. I won't go so far to say she's like anti or anything like that, but she did interview Kanye West, and we know that Ben Shapiro hated that. And she's had a much more contrarian or opposing view as Ben Shapiro. Now, Ben Shapiro told all of us, by the way, this is from Dom Luce or Dom Lucree, told us all to stop emoting for years just for him to go crying about Candace Owens. I hate to say it, but it looks like Ben is perfectly fine with enforcing his beliefs while canceling anyone that has their own. It makes all these videos when he attacked culture come back into perspective, and that is true. Now, look, he may be just responding to a question here. I get it. It's not like he's saying she's fired for it, but there's very clearly some tensions here. He continues, maybe Ben was always mad. He had never been represented. I don't know, but there's no way he would beat Candace Owens in a debate, and I bet every dollar I make on that. I don't know about that. That would be certainly interesting. And here's the clip that's going viral.
Yes, the question was about Candace Owens. I think.
So he's responding to a question here. You know, we talk about this a lot with like Hollywood actors saying something stupid, right? What we don't see on the side of them saying something stupid is a reporter saying, what's it like being the first female POC that's ever done anything? And then they chop it off, and then the actor says something stupid. Okay, not giving actors much of an out here, but, you know, I'm just saying that happens. So somebody asks him about Candace Owens.
Behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt.
So he said, I found her behavior during all of this disgraceful.
Without a doubt.
Okay, then did you hear that? And she said, and she still works for my company.
Yeah, and she still works for my company. And I think she's been absolutely disgraceful.
I think she's been absolutely disgraceful.
I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous.
He said, I think her faux sophistication on these issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's just being ridiculous.
Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable. Has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the
He says, everybody can see the moves that she's making
things that she's saying,
and the things that she's saying,
and
I find them disreputable. Yikes. Yikes. Now, this sounds like a guy that doesn't want her at the company. I mean, he did and look, I get it. By the way, they're allowed to disagree. And I think that, you know, I don't care for Candace Owens. I think everyone knows that. But the reasons I don't care for her are things that she's done in her past, not necessarily anything she's done or said now. Ben Shapiro, I think, has also said some disreputable things. I mean, I certainly remember his opinions on the jab. I'm married to a doctor. Get the jab, you dopes, or something like that. Now, he has kind of walked back on that and things of that nature. You can't hold things over people's heads forever, but the internet is certainly loving this. You see this tweet, by the way. It looks like Ben Shapiro is about to fire Candace Owens. You can see this clip, too. You see Ben Shapiro slams colleague Candace Owens for her absolutely disgraceful behavior in front of a visibly shocked audience.
Well, I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel.
Now, if you've been watching the presidential debates, like not a lot of people, but I'll fill you in, Nikki Haley has been extremely pro-war. She is a war hawk candidate that if you think even for a second that you're a big lover of war, especially foreign ones where we send our sons and daughters to die over in the sand for liquid oil or whatever, she's your candidate, okay? She has become rich by sitting on, working with special interests and defense companies. I hate her. Everything about Nikki Haley reminds me of, early 2000s Republicans too, that were complete trash, all right? But this is obviously a tongue-in-cheek endorsement.
I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests.
I don't believe that she would actually endorse Nikki Haley at all. I think she's kind of pointing out, hey, she's like this crazy pro-war maniac who wants to, give all our money to Israel for another foreign war. I think that's kind of what she's pointing at.
And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley with enough money from foreign interest lobbies. So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel. Well,
there you go, president of Israel. I mean, like there is some, it's pretty interesting. Now, what's interesting is that I think it's kind of cringe how many Americans are engrossing themselves in a war in a foreign land when we have so much to overcome in our own country. People, spending all day online, arguing with people online, online arguing over an issue thousands of miles away from this country when we have so many in our own backyard. I think that's a huge problem with our country, right up to the top in the president and the Senate and Congress, right down to, people who watch political videos online, regular citizens, allowing the machine to distract them with what's going on over in the desert, as opposed to, how San Francisco simply fixed the homeless problem overnight, only because they had the dictator, President Xi Jinping from China over for a visit. Suddenly, all the homeless problem was fixed. You can look at that and say, oh, they could fix this problem if they actually wanted to, but there's too much money in not fixing it. People forget, when you talk about the homeless problem, there are millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that people get paid every year to quote unquote manage the homeless problem. What happens if they fix it? Right? People forget that. What happens if they fix the homeless problem? Suddenly, California loses out hundreds of millions of dollars in federal aid. Thousands of people with big fat salaries who live in the suburbs don't have jobs anymore. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to think that the United States couldn't fix the homeless problem, or at least relocate it, where people want to sit in a community. If they're addicted to, they can give the people who want help, and the people that don't want help, okay, fine, then we have another solution for that. I mean, I think, you can live in these big communes out in Montana. You're not going to get free drugs from people, and I think that would pretty much fix the problem. But they don't care about it because they want everyone talking about Israel, Palestine. Like, who cares? I'm worried about my own brothers and sisters in America. 80,000 plus last year. 80,000 died due to the opioid crisis. 80,000, that is far more than will perish in this Israel-Palestine conflict, I suspect. And we're talking about that because that's what the Daily Wire wants to talk about, and that's what the powers that be want us to talk about, because that is where the money is. The money is not in fixing problems, it is in maintaining them. I suspect the Daily Wire will work this out, but this is going to get pretty spicy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe or follow down below. And don't forget to get your holiday gift box from coffeebrandcoffee.com. My company, my staff, my employees, my roasters. Make sure you use the link in the description. Promo code EARLYBIRD, save 10%, and we'll talk to you again real soon.